Eleanor Johnson slung her worn leather bag over her shoulder and walked toward the city's most luxurious spa. No one knew she was the new owner of the world-famous Serenity spa chain. When the receptionist refused to help her, Eleanor smiled briefly. This inspection would be more interesting than she had planned. The Golden Lotus Spa in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, was one of the city's most exclusive beauty and wellness centers. Its magnificent glass doors opened precisely at 9 every morning to welcome celebrities, millionaires, and the elite. The building's facade was covered with cream-colored marble and large glass panels. A stunning waterfall wall at the entrance immediately made guests feel that the luxury experience had begun. The parking lot lined with Bentleys, Porsches, and Lamborghinis clearly showed the client profile. A day of treatment at Golden Lotus cost as much as an average American's monthly salary, but this never bothered the customers who came here. This Monday morning, Golden Lotus's general manager Blake Thompson was pacing nervously in his glass-enclosed office. At 42, with his perfectly tailored Italian suit, polished leather shoes, and immaculately styled hair, he was the perfect example of a successful spa manager. An expensive Swiss watch gleamed on his well-groomed hands, the first luxury item he had bought himself after graduating from Harvard Business School. During his 20-year career in the luxury spa sector, Blake had served countless celebrities and billionaires, fulfilling even their most eccentric request perfectly. During this time, he had learned to understand the language of rich and powerful people, to meet their expectations, and most importantly, to distinguish who was important. For Blake, the world was simple. People were either important or not, and this importance was usually determined by their clothes, accessories, and manner of speaking. However, today he appeared more tense than usual. For the past 6 months, Golden Lotus had been in the process of being sold, and finally, a buyer had been found. Serenity International, one of the world's most prestigious spa chains. The deal was expected to be signed today. "When is the offer being finalized?" Blake asked, speaking through his Bluetooth headset. The anxiety in his tone was evident. "I heard that Serenity International raised their purchase offer above all other offers, but no one knows who the new CEO is." As the person on the phone answered, Blake grumbled. "What do you mean, Eleanor Johnson? I've never heard of her. A former finance CEO? Does she have any experience in the spa sector?" He grimaced as he listened to the response. "Great. A complete outsider with no industry experience. Running a luxury spa is not the same as managing a bank's accounts." After ending the conversation, Blake took a deep breath. Beads of sweat had formed on his forehead. Throughout his career, he had always been in control, but now everything was uncertain. Golden Lotus had been in the sales process for the past 6 months, and Serenity International, one of the world's most prestigious spa chains, had made by far the highest offer. The deal was expected to be signed this week. Blake sighed as he looked out his window. This workplace, which he had dedicated 20 years to, would now change hands. Serenity's offer was so high that the current owners, Samuel and Vivian Green, had accepted without hesitation. Now all he could hope for was that the new management would keep him in his position. That's why today he needed to appear more perfect than ever. Every detail had to be flawless. Every customer had to leave happy. "Do we have any special reservations for today?" Rachel, in her early 30s, was always elegantly dressed and extremely organized. "Yes, Mr. Thompson. Kylie Jenner will be arriving at 11, followed by Ryan Gosling and his wife, who made a full package reservation for the afternoon. Also, Vivian and Samuel Green will be here at 10. "The Greens are coming today?" Blake asked, looking surprised. "Why?" "To meet Eleanor Johnson," said Rachel, the new CEO of Serenity International. Blake paused for a moment. "Johnson is coming here today? Why wasn't I told?" Rachel hesitated. "I sent a notification to your email last night, Mr. Thompson." Blake went to his desk in his office and quickly checked his computer. Indeed, there was an unread email in his inbox. Reminder, meeting with Eleanor Johnson, Serenity and CEO. "Damn," Blake muttered. "Everything must be perfect. Rachel, tell all the staff, they need to show their best performance today. No mistakes will be tolerated." Just then, a modestly dressed woman entered through the magnificent glass doors of Golden Lotus. About 45, of medium height, with dark brown hair falling in natural waves to her shoulders, she wore a simple outfit consisting of blue jeans, a gray sweater, and a brown autumn jacket. She carried a plain leather bag on her shoulder. Her makeup was minimal, perhaps just a light lipstick and mascara. Eleanor Johnson had never liked ostentation. Raised in a middle-class family in Boston, she had worked diligently to get a finance education at Harvard and built a brilliant career on Wall Street. Over the past decade, the investment fund she managed had grown to be worth billions of dollars, and she had quietly become one of the world's richest women. However, Eleanor had never felt the need to display her wealth. For her, money was simply a tool, not a way of life. 6 months ago, Eleanor had received an unexpected offer to become the owner of Serenity International. Despite having no experience in luxury spa chains, she had seen the potential in this opportunity. It was an ideal platform to create a business focused not on money, but on quality and customer experience. Additionally, after years of working in the finance world, she wanted to do something that would genuinely help people feel better. In the entrance lobby of the luxury spa, surrounded by crystal chandeliers, exotic flowers, and marble decorations, Eleanor was almost invisible. Other customers dazzled with their carefully selected designer clothes, sparkling jewelry, and professional makeup. One woman was talking to her friend, showing off the enormous diamond ring on her finger, while another group was discussing their recent European trips. Eleanor looked around, assessing the spa's decoration and general atmosphere. As a business person, she knew the best way to understand a business's true quality was to experience it as an ordinary customer. Therefore, she had decided to visit each facility in the Serenity chain this way, in her clothes, as an unrecognized customer. At reception, Amber, a young woman in her mid-20s with perfect makeup and platinum blonde hair tied in a tight bun, was carefully looking at her computer screen. Beside her, another equally stylish receptionist, Zoe, was flipping through a luxury magazine. Both women wore black uniforms that hugged their well-curved bodies, with gold necklaces bearing the Golden Lotus logo around their necks. Eleanor approached the reception with a slight smile. "Good morning," she said. Amber looked up, quickly scanned Eleanor, and put on a professional but distant smile. "Good morning. How can I help you?" Eleanor, trying to keep her voice natural and relaxed, said, "I wanted to get information about your daily care package." Amber's smile flickered slightly. Golden Lotus's daily care package started at $1,500, and she doubted this simply dressed woman could afford it. Still, she tried to act professionally. Blake's instructions were clear. Every customer should be welcomed well, at least until they were directed appropriately. "Of course," said Amber, with a barely perceptible condescension in her tone. "The Golden Lotus daily ritual starts at $1,500. Our comprehensive VIP package is $5,000. No reaction appeared on Eleanor's face. She had 100 times that amount in her wallet and millions more in her bank accounts, but money had never been a status symbol for her. Eleanor calmly nodded. "Could I get more detailed information about the VIP package?" Amber glanced once more at Eleanor's clothes and worn bag. Then she gave Zoe a meaningful look. Zoe rolled her eyes slightly, a silent agreement passing between the two receptionists. "This woman definitely didn't belong here. Our VIP package is usually for our special customers," said Amber, her tone becoming a bit more formal. "Perhaps we have more suitable economic alternatives for you. We have a quick package that includes a short neck massage and mini facial, only $300. Eleanor paused for a moment, something flashing in her eyes, perhaps a small spark of amusement. This was exactly what she wanted to test, how a customer was evaluated based on appearance. "Actually, I'd like to try all your services," she said. "I can spend my entire day here today." Amber and Zoe looked at each other, both uncomfortable. This woman was either crazy or really unaware of her situation. Amber cleared her throat. "Unfortunately, our VIP area is completely booked today. Also, our VIP services usually require a reservation a week in advance." "What about the regular daily package?" "That's almost full too," Amber said quickly. "Perhaps you'd like to make a reservation for another day." Eleanor was about to ask another question when Blake Thompson appeared from the corridor behind. He looked as perfect as always, winking at Amber as he passed by. Then he noticed Eleanor and hesitated slightly. A new customer and someone like this. "Is there a problem, Amber?" he asked, his voice polite but distant. "Nothing, Mr. Thompson," Amber replied. "The lady was just getting information. I was suggesting a more suitable facility for her." Blake gave Eleanor a look and immediately made his decision. Today, before a potential meeting with Serenity's new owner, he had no time for a customer who appeared below standards. "I see," he said and turned to Eleanor. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but we really are fully booked today. Perhaps the affordable day spa on Sunset Boulevard could better serve you." Eleanor's eyes rested on Blake, evaluating him. This man would be her potential new boss in the job interview. And right now she was learning a lot about that potential boss. Eleanor smiled politely. "Mr. Thompson, isn't it? I have a question for you. Do you evaluate your customers at Golden Lotus based on their clothes?" Blake was uncomfortable. Who did this woman think she was? "Absolutely not," he said, his tone defensive. "I'm just trying to be realistic. Our services, well, they're aimed at a special clientele. I see, said Eleanor, taking out a small notebook from her bag and beginning to write something. And what are the criteria for this special clientele, I wonder? Blake was becoming increasingly uncomfortable. Who did this woman think she was? A journalist? Or some kind of mystery shopper? Whatever she was, he didn't have time to deal with this today. Ma'am, we only work by reservation, and we really don't have any space available today. Just then, Blake's cell phone rang. He looked at the screen. Excuse me, this is an important call, he said, and before walking away, he looked at Amber, adding, could you help the lady? This meant get rid of her politely, and Amber nodded in agreement. Blake answered the phone as he walked away. Yes, Mr. Green. Yes, everything is ready. We've planned a special welcome for Eleanor Johnson. Don't worry, everything will be perfect. Eleanor watched Blake leave, still with that strange little smile. Her first experience at Golden Lotus was exactly as she expected. Flashy, luxurious, but lacking in substance. Then she turned to Amber. Perhaps I could just take your brochures and a business card. Amber was relieved. This annoying woman was finally about to leave. Of course, she said, pulling out a luxury brochure and business card from under the reception desk. Here's a list of all our services. You can call for a reservation. Eleanor took the brochure and card, thanked her, and began walking toward the exit. Amber and Zoe breathed a sigh of relief. Can you believe it? Zoe whispered. We should have told her this isn't Walmart. Amber giggled. I bet even Sunset Spa would be beyond her budget. This day is starting terribly, said Amber. I hope Eleanor Johnson makes a better impression. Blake looked very tense when he went into the meeting with her. Have you heard what Johnson is like? Zoe asked. They say she's a finance genius, but has no experience in the spa sector. Great, Amber said sarcastically. I hope her first action isn't to cut our salaries. However, before Eleanor reached the door, something unexpected happened. The spa's owners, Samuel Green and his wife Vivian Green, entered through the main door. The couple, in their late 60s, had founded Golden Lotus 30 years ago and were highly respected in Los Angeles society. Samuel wore an elegant gray suit, while Vivian had chosen a stylish purple dress. Despite their age, both looked healthy and energetic. They were loyal customers of their own spa. As soon as she saw Eleanor, Vivian Green's face lit up. Eleanor Johnson, is that you? Eleanor turned and smiled. Vivian, Samuel, what a lovely surprise. Amber and Zoe were left staring in astonishment. Did Vivian Green know this modestly dressed woman? Vivian stepped forward and gave Eleanor a warm hug. How long have you been in Los Angeles? Why didn't you call us? I arrived last night, Eleanor replied. I thought I had a meeting with you today, but apparently there's a mix-up in the schedule. Samuel laughed. It was planned for the afternoon. But since you're here, let's call Blake. We can't do anything without him, can we? I just met Blake Thompson, said Eleanor, that amused sparkle returning to her eyes. It was quite an impressive encounter. Samuel frowned. I hope everything is all right. Blake is our most valuable employee. Don't worry, said Eleanor. Everything is exactly as it should be. At that moment, Blake hurried back to the lobby, still holding his phone. Mr. Green, the person on the phone is a lawyer from Serenity International. To discuss the final details of the agreement, Blake paused when he noticed the woman standing next to Samuel. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you had a guest. Samuel, with a broad smile on his face, said, Blake, I believe you've had the chance to meet. This is Eleanor Johnson, the new CEO of Serenity International, and now the owner of all our facilities, including Golden Lotus. The blood drained from Blake's face. The phone slipped from his hand to the floor, but he didn't even notice. Amber and Zoe looked at each other in horror, both frozen. Eleanor calmly smiled. Hello again, Mr. Thompson. I think I'll take the economy package. Vivian looked confused. What economy package? I was joking, said Eleanor. Mr. Thompson and his team were trying to tell me I wasn't up to the standards of this place. They suggested I go somewhere else. Samuel's smile faded. Blake, is this true? Blake began to stammer. We were very busy and, looking at my clothes, you assumed I couldn't afford Golden Lotus's services, Eleanor completed, her voice soft but authoritative, as if someone wearing jeans and a sweater couldn't afford a $5,000 spa day. Miss Johnson, please, said Blake, his face now bright red. There was a big misunderstanding. If I had known who you were, that's exactly the issue, Mr. Thompson, said Eleanor. To know who a person is, you need to see their character, not their title or bank accounts. I was the same person 5 minutes ago as I am now. The only thing that has changed is what you know about me. Amber and Zoe stood behind the reception desk as if wishing they could become invisible. The entire lobby had fallen into a strange silence. Other customers and staff had noticed the situation and were watching curiously. Samuel cleared his throat. Eleanor, perhaps we could talk in my private office. Eleanor nodded. Of course, but first I have a request for Mr. Thompson. She turned to Blake. Would you gather all your staff in the lobby? I want to formally introduce myself. Blake swallowed and nodded. Of course, right away. 20 minutes later, all of Golden Lotus's staff, therapists, aestheticians, cleaning staff, chefs, waiters, formed a semicircle in the lobby. They all looked tense, especially Blake, Amber, and Zoe. Eleanor Johnson stood in front of the semicircle. She was still wearing the same simple clothes, but now there was an authority in her posture. The confidence and determination of a woman who had been a top executive on Wall Street for years was evident in her every aspect. Good morning, everyone, she began. My name is Eleanor Johnson, and I am now the CEO of Serenity International and the owner of this beautiful facility. The reason I'm here today was to see firsthand how Golden Lotus operates, and to be honest, I was not impressed with what I saw. There was an uneasy stirring among the staff. Some looked anxiously at each other. The external appearance of Golden Lotus is magnificent, Eleanor continued. The decoration, facilities, menu, all first class. But what's missing is perhaps the most important thing, sincerity and respect. Blake tried to step forward. Miss Johnson, please allow me to explain. Eleanor gently stopped him with her hand. No explanation is necessary, Mr. Thompson. What I experienced here today was no coincidence. I visit all Serenity facilities around the world this way, in simple clothes, where the staff doesn't recognize me. This is the best way to see a facility's true values. Most of the staff were now looking at their feet, appearing ashamed. Blake's face was pale, glistening with sweat. At Serenity International, Eleanor continued, we believe that luxury is not just about price tags. True luxury is treating every customer, regardless of their clothes, appearance, or social status, with respect and care. A spa isn't just for the rich, it's for everyone. Of course, our services may be expensive, but that doesn't mean everyone doesn't deserve the same respect. A cleaning lady, an older woman, slightly raised her hand. So what happens now, Miss Johnson? Will we all lose our jobs? Eleanor smiled at the woman. This cleaning lady, Maria, was the only person who had greeted Eleanor when she entered. What's your name? Maria, ma'am. I've been working here for 15 years. Eleanor smiled. No, Maria, no one will lose their job immediately. I believe in giving everyone a second chance. She turned to Blake, including Mr. Thompson. Blake breathed a sigh of relief, but Eleanor continued. However, there will be major changes in our company culture. Starting tomorrow, all staff will undergo a week of customer experience training, and as part of this training, everyone will spend a day as a guest here. A guest? Someone asked. Yes, said Eleanor. Spending a full day as a customer in our own facility gives perspective. The best way to understand what a customer feels is to be in their place. Blake shook his head in astonishment. But Miss Johnson, this is impractical. Most of our staff don't have the financial means to afford our expensive VIP services. A slight smile appeared on Eleanor's face. Don't worry, Mr. Thompson. This experience will be free for all of you. After all, I see it as a business investment. Excited whispers rose among the staff. Getting Golden Lotus's most expensive services for free was a wonderful idea. Also, Eleanor continued, to support giving back to the community, which is one of Serenity's core values, we will offer our services free of charge to needy members of the community 1 day a month, the homeless, unemployed, cancer patients. This announcement caused even more surprised looks. Blake was practically frozen. Free? He asked, feeling the word like a strange taste in his mouth. Yes, free, said Eleanor. Mr. Thompson, I don't know how much experience you have in the sector, but I've spent 30 years in the business world, and I've learned the most valuable lesson. Success is not measured just by how much money you make. It's measured by how you impact the world around you. Signs of nodding and approval were seen among the staff. They too had often questioned who and what the spa was really serving, while catering to the whims of wealthy clients. Finally, said Eleanor, we are not just a spa, we are a place that helps people feel better about themselves. And we should do this not just for the rich or famous, but for everyone who needs our services. Relaxing, taking care of yourself, escaping from stress, these are not luxuries, they're human needs. When she finished her speech, there was a brief silence in the hall. Then unexpectedly, Maria began to applaud. Slowly, other staff joined her until the entire lobby was filled with the sound of applause. Blake, Amber, and Zoe still stood in shame behind the others. Eleanor approached them. I want to speak with you privately in the office, she said, her tone not harsh but serious. Everyone deserves a second chance, but how you use that chance is entirely up to you. Blake swallowed and nodded. Of course, Miss Johnson. In Samuel Green's luxurious office, Eleanor sat facing Blake, Amber, and Zoe. All three appeared extremely tense. First of all, said Eleanor, I want you to understand this. What happened today is not personal to me. In my business life, I've always tried to understand not people's actions, but the reasons behind their actions. Blake cleared his throat. Miss Johnson, I really am sorry. It was a misunderstanding. Mr. Thompson, said Eleanor in a calm voice, we both know this wasn't a misunderstanding. You evaluated me and found me lacking, based solely on my appearance. Blake tried to object, but Eleanor continued. The real question is, why? Why do you see some people as valuable and others as worthless? What does this behavior pattern gain you? Blake struggled to answer. All his life he had seen the world this way. Black and white, rich and poor, important and unimportant. This was a deeply ingrained habit. I guess it makes my life easier, he finally said. This job requires interacting with hundreds of people every day, categorizing them, knowing how to treat whom. It makes my job easier. Eleanor nodded. I understand, but now I ask you this. Does this behavior pattern really help your business? Today you potentially lost thousands of dollars in sales because you judged me based on my appearance. How many similar situations have occurred? How many potential customers turned away from this door because they weren't treated right? Blake's eyes widened. He had never thought of it from this perspective. And you two, said Eleanor, turning to Amber and Zoe. What's your perspective? Why do you treat one customer differently from another? Amber tried to respond, her voice trembling. We were just following Mr. Thompson. That was the policy. Policy? Eleanor asked. Does Golden Lotus have a policy of separating customers according to their clothes? Not written, said Zoe. But we were always taught that way. VIPs come first, always. Eleanor looked at them, not with disappointment in her eyes, but understanding. I want to tell you a story, she said. I was once like you. I was 20, just graduated, and started my first job on Wall Street. My boss gave me a lesson. Make time for important people. Ignore the rest. And I did. I had a brilliant career, rose quickly. Eleanor paused for a moment, as if her memory was coming alive. Then one day, I went to see my sick mother. In her nursing home room, one of the nurses treated me the same way, cold, distant, as if I wasn't worth her time. And at that moment, I realized I was doing the same thing in my business life. I was categorizing people as those who could benefit me or not. What kind of person did that make me? The room was engulfed in silence, all three absorbing Eleanor's words. After that day, I made a promise to myself. I would treat everyone, whoever they are, whatever they wear, with respect. And you know what happened? My career got even better. Because when people feel valued, they trust you. Eleanor leaned forward in her chair. This is what I'm asking of you. Value everyone. Show respect to every customer. And redefine what success is. Not just the money earned, but the impact you create. Blake nodded, slowly digesting Eleanor's words. I understand, Miss Johnson. So what happens now? Eleanor smiled. Now I'm going to give you a chance to lead this change, a chance to make Golden Lotus a place that values everyone, not just the richest. You trust me? Blake asked, astonished. No, Eleanor said honestly. Not yet, but I'm giving you an opportunity to show me that I can trust you. We all make mistakes, Mr. Thompson. What matters is what we learn from them. 6 months later, Golden Lotus Spa had become Serenity International's flagship facility. The lobby now looked warmer and more inviting. Luxury was still present, but now had a more accessible feel. Staff uniforms had been made more comfortable and less formal, and the greeting protocol had been changed. Now every arriving customer, regardless of their clothing or appearance, was greeted with the same warm welcome. Blake Thompson was still the general manager, but he had changed. Now he welcomed every customer, regardless of their clothes or appearance, with the same warmth and respect. He even sometimes used his own money to offer free services to people in difficult financial situations. Amber and Zoe had also stayed, both exemplifying excellent customer service at the reception. Zoe, with Eleanor's encouragement, had started business school and was now studying outside of work hours. More importantly, Give Back to the Community Day had been a huge success. Every first Monday of the month, Golden Lotus Spa offered free services to those in need, cancer patients, the homeless, unemployed, and the elderly. Now many other luxury spas were following this model. Eleanor's vision had created a revolution in the industry. Revenues had also increased, interestingly. It seemed that treating people with respect instead of lowering profit margins had created a more loyal customer base and a more positive work environment. Employee satisfaction was at an all-time high, and the staff turnover rate had dropped to almost zero. Eleanor Johnson came to Golden Lotus one morning again in her simple clothes. This time, all the staff welcomed her warmly. Maria hugged her. Amber and Zoe greeted her with warm smiles. As Blake toured her through the lobby, he said, "Thank you for teaching us the importance of looking at character rather than clothing, Miss Johnson." Eleanor smiled. "Our outer appearance doesn't define us, Mr. Thompson. How we treat others does." Blake nodded. "I will never forget this lesson. I now understand that true luxury is not in expensive items, but in the respect we show to everyone." Eleanor looked around. In the lobby, there were people of different ages, different social statuses, wealthy businesswomen, modest retirees, young couples. All were receiving the same quality service. All were being shown the same respect. "You've done a great job, Blake," said Eleanor. "Golden Lotus now offers a luxury experience, not just for the rich, but for everyone. And you know what? That shows what luxury truly means." And that day, as Eleanor Johnson walked among the staff and customers in her simple jeans and sweater, everyone understood that her true wealth was not in her bank account, but in the value she placed on people. Blake Thompson never again treated a customer based on their clothes or appearance after that day. Instead, he approached each customer as an individual with a story, deserving of respect. And for the first time in his career, he felt he was doing something truly meaningful, beyond just making money. Years later, when he retired, he would tell those who asked about the turning point in his life, "A woman wearing jeans changed my life. Because that day I realized that judging people by their outward appearance is the biggest fallacy in life." And Eleanor Johnson's simple but powerful lesson changed not just Golden Lotus Spa, but the entire luxury sector. True luxury is not expensive things, but the respect and courtesy shown to everyone. Sometimes the greatest lessons in life come from the most unexpected people. And sometimes true value lies not in appearance, but in character. What did you take away from this story? Have you ever judged someone based on their clothes or appearance, then realized you were wrong? Perhaps you've experienced something similar? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you liked the video, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from today? Let us know in the comments. And remember, true value is not in appearance, but in character. Until our next story, take care of yourself and approach everyone with respect.